in here again, and it's just another shoot the shit episode on video. As we're just going to talk about whatever we feel like talking about. But the main one that we wanted to start was, well, at least was me and B anyway, was the recent stuff with He-Man again. just I'm getting so tired of this hating on He-Man just because it's what the mob wants. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it just feels like, what do you want this show to be? Huh? Oh, Kevin lied. Kevin lied. Whatever. What are you wanting? Doesn't matter. He lied. What did you want it to be? It's the Tila show. Tila is getting more development because she hardly had any in the old show. Now, granted, they went a little overboard in part one, I will admit, but not that badly. So, again, what do you want? Did you want it to just be nothing but? I mean, we're basically doing stuff that the lore has been building up to. Some of the stuff teased in the trailer was stuff I predicted because it was stuff that Rob David did in the Eternity War comic. Like having Evil Lyn and Tila both become rival sorcerers. That was from the comic. Right down to, now they're probably not going to name it that she's the source of the Horcast, but having the bat motif in the trailer. That tells you that Evil Lyn is basically being the dark sorceress. You're having, the idea of Adam is able to tap into the power without the sword, things like that. Again, from the DC comic. Skeletor's look from the Eternity War. So much of this just feels like they're building off of the stuff that we know works, but it's not enough for these people. It's like they just want to bitch and moan. And yet when they get something that's so drastically changing, oh, it's okay, Tila's black. Oh, it's all right that they combined her and made her the sorceress at the same time. Oh, it's okay they did all these drastic changes. It's like, they're a bunch of hypocrites. They're all a bunch of hypocrites.
I honestly don't understand how here's the thing. I, as a person who has watched movies my entire life, I has I have always been bad at foreshadowing anything at
Mm-hmm.
all, even like simple cartoons. And then I watch this show and I'm like, okay, so that's being foreshadowed, that's being foreshadowed, that's being foreshadowed. I'm like,
Exactly. How
okay,
much?
I got it. And then they revealed it all in the freaking trailer. And I'm like, okay, you're showing me too much. You answered all my questions that I wanted to see in the show and you put it in the freaking trailer. That was the only
Right?
problem I had with the trailer. It showed too much. I'm like, might
Oh,
as well just put out the episode.
exactly. They did show quite a lot, but who knows? There might be twists and turns we don't see coming.
Hopefully. But like
Although, make it.
everybody had a yes.
Sorry, I was just saying, but also Orko's alive. Who didn't see that
I was
coming?
just about to say that. I was like, yep, you hear his voice. Everybody who said he was dead, I knew he was going to come back to life and become the Oracle or whatever. And
Or
then
be
look, you
like,
hear his
yeah,
voice. He's not freaking dead. Oh my gosh.
yep.
I had to tell people
And
this, and I'm not even a He-Man fan.
I know, and it's like, yeah, he's not dead, which tells you that Kevin, was he lying? No, he was exaggerating. He was hyping up like someone should, but nope, that's a lie. Liar!
It's just that they take everything too seriously now.
They do because they want things to be outraged about. Like I keep saying, that's all they want. They want something to be outraged about. And
Well, they're the flip side of the SJW culture, which, originated the outrage at sexualization and
mm-hmm.
fridging and stuff. And I mean, honestly, I think both sides have a point in terms of real trends that are worth critiquing, but
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
they're not
And they go
critiquing
overboard then.
anymore. They're just bandwagoning.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, for example, the Hellraiser situation, where you had so many people saying, "Oh, they gender bent Pinhead," and it's like, no, you idiot! Did you not read the articles? Probably not. It's a much closer adaptation to the original book, where Pinhead was a female and the lead Cenobite was still, well, male-ish. In the original movie, they combined the two characters. Now, granted, it ended up becoming the icon of Hellraiser, but that was not. But again, Pinhead was never a dude originally.
So that means they gender bent the female into
Well,
an
again, they combine. Well,
um,
again, do you call it gender bending when you're combining two
ambiguous.
characters? You know what I mean, right? Does it count as it when you're combining characters?
I don't know.
Because basically, he had most of the traits of the lead Cenobite, but he had the distinctive look of Pinhead.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, but either way, though, people are just like, Yeah, it's like you're idiots. You're idiots.
Relax.
Yep. And then, or you have the recent stuff with Iron Fist. Now, I am not a fan of how Danny lost his stuff, but now they're acting like, oh, they're race bending. No, it was already established during that Brubaker's run, at least, um, that Iron Fist is a mantle. It's a title. It can be passed down.
To like 60 people.
So
Yeah, and it's
is this new Iron Fist stuff connected to any of the past stuff? I haven't been following the current
yeah,
goings
yeah.
on.
There was a
Me
prior
too.
story, or the prior miniseries that ended kind of disgracefully. I will admit,
Is
of
this the Kari Andrews one or a different one?
different one, very different one.
Wait. Is this the one where he like literally loses his hand and goes into the like
I don't
hell?
know about that. I don't know about that, but I just know by the end of it all, he gives the mantle up to this Asian woman, and then says,
Oh no, I didn't read
this,
that one.
and then says, "You earned it. You're better than me. You are way better than me in every way." It's like after everything he went through, after everything he did to earn the title, just simply saying, "You got the power. You did good. You're better than me. I'm gone."
That was in the show, right?
No, no,
The
that
comic?
was the recent,
The
not the one that's.
show. So the show gets a lot of hate, but I still think that the second season's really good.
There was a second season. I
I'm
thought they
pretty
only went
sure
to one. I thought it was
No,
only one.
No, no, no.
second season, it fixed most of the problems I had with the first season. Like the
Because
first
they got rid of the original showrunner.
Yes, well, but every Marvel show did that, except I think Jessica Jones.
Well, even Daredevil.
Daredevil got rid of 3 showrunners in the first season alone, dude.
Dang.
I
3
heard the second
showrunners in the
season.
first 6 episodes. It's
I heard the
ridiculous.
second season of Jessica Jones wasn't really good, but the Iron
No.
Fist one was better.
I didn't like second
wise.
season of Jessica Jones either.
Well, I think because you bank you put all your eggs into the first season.
Ah.
You know
well,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
I mean,
what
making
else could
Purple
you have
Man the
done?
villain in the first season, I think, was a mistake.
I mean, it makes sense at the same time because they didn't know they were going to probably get a second season.
Yeah, but I mean, the way they chose to go for the second season did not. It wasn't great.
Right, but
And I say this as someone who loved the first season a lot.
I still haven't seen it.
yep. Oh, one quick note for you, Ian. I doubt you saw it, but Tristan and I did a video talking about Deceased, including the digital series, and I gushed a little bit about how great Stephanie was handled.
In Deceased?
The Deceased digital series.
Ah, yes. The Robin.
Yep, we're being Damien's Robin and being the big sister again, and basically it was like Brian Q. Miller, Stephanie Beck.
That was nice. I just
And at
hope that
least
she comes back in the third series.
Whenever that happens, because seriously, that was the one thing I hated about Dead Planet. It was like way too many plot points. The Trigon stuff took over too much, and then they rushed the ending. And then they have Darkseid set up and don't even tease it at the end.
Wait, I have a question. So, is the digital different from the hardcover?
Yeah. Oh no,
What?
there is a digital collection that's in a hardcover of the there's the Deceased Hope That World End.
Yeah.
So that's separate from regular Deceased?
Yes, it's set in between issues 4 and 5.
And it's only digital?
No, there is a hardcover collection. It never got individual issue collections.
Oh, okay, because
Which
I got
pissed me
both
off.
of the hardcovers. So I'm like, I don't want to miss anything.
Wait. Do you have the Hope at World's End
There should
hardcover?
be 4 hardcovers, right? Because it's Deceased 1, Deceased 2, Unkillables, and Hope at World's
Hope
End.
at World's End, yes. So there's 4 hard.
Oh, shoot.
Wait, do you see them anywhere? Do you the hardcovers?
They're on my bookshelf.
Oh. Well, you can check them out later, all right? I'm positive.
Yeah.
You probably
Oh
have
my
the
gosh.
first 2. Hey, it's okay. That just means you got to get 2 more.
I'm glad I didn't read it yet. They're still in the
But yeah,
packaging.
basically, if you want to read it, here's the recommended order. You read issues 1 through 4. Then you read both Hope at World's End, and there's a one-shot called, which I think is in one of the hardcovers, called A Good Day to Die.
Yep.
Then you do 5, 6. Then you can read Unkillables, but read that between like first issue, also between 4 and 5, second issue between 5 and 6, and then the last issue after 6. Then you do the second miniseries.
I'm gonna just read whatever I want.
Well,
That
yeah,
works too.
you should definitely do that.
Which, and now, if I remember right, though, you seem to be liking DC suit. I thought you didn't like it because you felt Tom Taylor was being too Tom Taylor.
How salty do you want me to be?
As much as you want to, be honest. I don't want you to hold back.
I don't like deceased.
Oh, I thought you did.
No.
You did like how he handled Stephanie, at least, though, right?
Well, I like how he handled her until he killed her off.
Well, at least she actually died and didn't get turned.
But if she'd gotten turned, she could get healed in Dead Earth.
Well, we
Or
already established that
died.
she's going to go to the Lazarus pit.
But he needs to actually follow up on that.
Well, there's a lot of stuff he needs to follow up on, man. There's that. Like I said, there's Dark Side. There's Superman Still in the Sun.
Superman in the sun.
Which, yeah, and that's what it feels like. That second one just rushed way too fast. But still, though, but so you did not like. But the only thing you did like was Stephanie until he killed her, though, right?
I didn't mind John and Damien's friendship. I thought that was good.
Although in the second mini, they basically became their fathers.
It did feel like he didn't have that much of an idea how to distinguish them from their fathers.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, by the second mini, I would say by Hope at World's End, you still had it because it was still in that point where they're figuring it out. But yeah, by the
Hope
second
at
one,
World's End is basically in the middle of the first
Yeah.
Deceased.
yeah, where the second one, though, you have a point where like when they're finding it, when they find out, oh, we could cure the people, all those people we killed, and Damien just says, "You couldn't have known," and it's like that's not a Damien thing to say. That's a Bruce thing to say.
Would a Damien thing to say be like, it's whether them or us?
Something like that. Even after becoming Batman, he would still have a
You're
lot of
becoming
himself.
weak.
Can I tell you my favorite moment in DC's Hope at World's End? Finally having Lois and Talia ready to throw down.
Sword fights.
No, not a sword fight. There's they're glaring at each other. They're going to have a battle of words. That debating
Fair
like,
fight.
who has the better. No, it wouldn't be a fair fight. Talia in a physical
Thumb
fight. Talia.
war. Thumb wars then. Unless she, Talia does thumb workouts. I don't know.
No, it was a battle of words and ideas.
Boring.
Which the ones
Well,
they get.
I think what Robert's saying is that the idea of John and Damien's mothers is really fascinating.
Well, basically
No,
no, not really fascinating, but just the idea that you never see it in the main series. They've never interacted in the main series. This is the one and only time those two have ever interacted with each other.
Right.
With their sons in the room.
Yeah, I think conceptually that's very interesting. I think it could have.
It would not come to blows, obviously.
No. I'm not saying I want it to come to blows, but I wish there had been more of a plot because it was more of a moment than a plot point to me.
That is true.
And I think it could have been a whole. I wish someone would actually do a plot about that.
Oh, I agree. I do agree with that. And I will just say this:
would have been better than the Greg Rucka illegal immigrant stuff in the Lois Lane miniseries.
What happened to him? He wrote a great Lois during his Adventure of the Superman run back around Infinite Crisis. That was an incredible Lois.
I mean, Talia was in the Super Sons comic, so wouldn't it be good to have Lois on there too?
Oh yeah, that is true. Okay, if you want to talk Super Sons, let's talk Super Sons.
Oh boy, you really want me to get salty, don't you?
Oh, I forgot. You're not a fan of Tomasi. I keep forgetting.
Oh no. Oh, you're not? Okay, that's fine. I respect your choice.
He's wrong. I'm kidding.
I would like to say that I respect Tomasi's talent. I just don't enjoy what he does, and I think his themes and structures frustrate me.
All right.
So I'm not saying he's bad. He's not for me.
All right. Well, what about with Super Sons and how he handled Damien? Because remember, most people agree he's the one who made everyone care about Damien. Morrison never did.
Yeah, I agree. Morrison never did. But you know who made me care about Damien?
Brian Q. Miller?
Yep.
Okay, fair enough. But for many other people, it was Tomasi.
Yes. I would say for the vast majority of people, it was Tomasi. But for me, it was Brian Q. Miller and
Patrick. Which I won't argue.
Patrick Gleason's
Which was playing off of the stuff he and Tomasi did, so you cannot deny that.
Oh, I don't deny it. I just think he did it way better.
I'll say, you know what my favorite Brian Q. Miller, Damien, Stephanie moment was? The bounce house.
Of course.
Yeah,
Although,
mentioned about it. I was like, I see a
there's
smile.
so many great moments.
But I love that. Like, I see a smile. No, you don't. Yes, I do. You're dreaming.
What comic was this?
Brian Q. Miller's Batgirl, where Stephanie Brown was Batgirl. It was one of those unfortunate things that suffered the New 52.
You should read it. It's one of the best comics ever.
Even has one of the best wrap-ups. Way better than Tim's wrap-up.
Yeah, Tim's...
Seriously, what was
Tim's series felt like it went one issue too far. Because like second to last issue was actually a pretty decent finale, but the last issue was a terrible finale.
Because it basically showed that he was becoming too much like Bruce.
Right, which is the opposite of what Tim should be.
I know, that one other issue, the stuff with him and Cassie and Cassandra and all that. Although I guess, what was Fabian Nicieza's obsession with taking Tim's V card?
It creeped me out. It creeped me out a lot.
Now, granted, you had I can accept links. I can accept even Cassandra to a degree because some people said there was always some teases.
I'm sorry, what happened?
In the Red Robin series, that was
the second half. The second half.
Yeah, the second half of the Red Robin series, where Fabian Nicieza took over before the New 52. There were like 3 separate plots of like Tim being in danger of losing his virginity.
Oh.
One gave him his own Catwoman in Lynx, who's been this is like what, the third version of the character?
Yes, it was.
No wonder they have nothing to do.
It doesn't help that the artwork was incredibly done by Ray McCarthy.
And Marcus Toe.
Yeah. Great artwork. You know,
really
they do some really sexy ladies.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And then
very appealing.
And I will say this, you know what's still always one of my favorite moments that they drew? Now, it was during the first half, was when you see Stephanie take down Peru.
Oh, yes. Such a great scene.
And just Tim's like, holy... Peru, by the way, Bianca, was one of the League of Assassins. So for Stephanie to take down a League of Assassins, now later it's revealed she wasn't really trying to hurt them and threaten them, so all Stephanie did was catch her off guard. But she made her nose bleed.
I still say taking down an assassin is doing pretty well.
Yep, B, you want to know what the final issue for Stephanie was and why it's so beloved by her fans?
Yes.
She confronts her father, who ends up having one of the Black Mercies. That was from the Superman's classic story for the Man Who Knows Everything. Basically, it shows you, your greatest desires before it drains the life from you. And we basically saw everything Brian Q. Miller had in mind.
It was like the next 4 years of plots right there.
And then beyond that. Because obviously I would say the stuff with her, having a kid and all that stuff was well past the 4-year mark.
Well, yes. But my guess is that would have been like a flash forward thing, not like the series would really have lasted that long.
Right. But although I think it's Tim's kid.
Actually, I had a really good conversation on 4chan like 2 nights ago, where someone said that the point of the series is that Steph fell into a mothering role with Damien so well, like a big sister / mother. Mm-hmm. And I think that means that Brian Q. Miller really did think about the fact that Steph had to give up her own child for adoption. He wasn't allowed to mention it, but he was thinking about it. And what that child represents isn't so much, it wasn't Tim's child or Gage's child or anyone's child. It was the fact that Steph was able to have and keep her own son this time.
That's true.
I think that was true. I was really appreciative of that insight. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that does sound cool. Yeah, did you know that about Stephanie, Bianca, that she actually had a kid?
No, I know nothing about Stephanie, but I know everybody loves Stephanie.
Rightfully so.
She's great.
She is great. Definitely, she is very great.
Although
I will admit, I kind of have to agree with some of those people who feel like Tinian did make her a bit too focused as the love interest of Tim in the later half of the Detective Comics run.
Um,
Just a little, like a little too focused on her feelings for Tim.
I mean, the for me the problem with that is that Tynan was told he had to kill Tim. And
Right.
so he wanted that to matter. And so he wanted to have people with connections to Tim who would mourn him. And so
Oh yeah.
Steph was that person structurally.
Oh yeah.
And
Structurally, yes, I will agree with that.
I
In
do
execution,
agree that
though.
all of her plot lines are around Tim,
Mm-hmm.
except that I think that if you look at it, if you're willing to see her having her own plot, developing her own morality, developing her
Right.
own sense of what's right. The fact that her finale is the issue before the run ends when she sees that she was Ramen and
Oh,
Batgirl
yeah,
in the
oh,
past.
I love that. You showed me that to try and break me. All you did was show me how awesome I am.
Yes.
And same with Cassandra as well. I love that. How Brother I was basically trying to break him. It's like, why would that break me?
They're like, wouldn't that rather show me how awesome we could be? You
Exactly.
played yourself.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Oh,
Exactly.
one other question when it comes to with for you, Ian. In a different note, have you read the recent Joker issue?
Oh, yes.
What did
It's
you
my
think about
favorite
the vengeance
series on the
of?
show.
Yep. What did you think about the origin of vengeance and the retconning of Bane's backstory?
I don't think it's a retconning that makes a big difference.
Well, yeah, because we already know that technically he was screwed and mistreated. It just goes beyond, oh, we're punishing you for your father. It was we want you to kill the bat, but we did it too well.
I mean, the interesting thing is in Vengeance of Bane, the origin
Which
story
I
by
love that. Which I
Nolan.
love. That's why they named her Vengeance. It
Yeah,
connects to, yeah, Vengeance of Bane.
but in that one shot, which actually is a two shot, but that's a different thing.
Right.
Um, we don't get to see the motivations of those guys.
Right. In fact, didn't Bane get all this stuff from a nightmare?
I mean, it's basically just sort of zoomed through. I mean, they're doing these experiments. We're never told who or why is doing them. They're just there to give him the powers.
But we
So,
originally thought that the Bat visions were separate. Now we're making it clear. No, they were connected.
right. But I think it really doesn't hurt anything. I think it,
Oh, I agree. I liked it. I just know so many people who are complaining.
well,
And I think the other thing is also it doesn't take away because they never controlled Bane. They just you know manipulated his mind and set him on his way. Everything was still him, and then they admit we couldn't control him. It was out of our control. But now with vengeance, we are doing Bane right
yeah.
until Joker's kind of or not. Yeah,
Well, I am I am really curious where this is going to go because we know from solicitations that Joker and the cannibals are going to have a confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know because you also have the network. You have the network, you have the cannibals, you have Joker, you have the Court of Owls, and you have
Vengeance. Yeah, well, that she's part of.
and
No, no, she's now she's separate now. Vengeance is
right.
now separate. And
So
Gordon.
there's so many players. I don't know how it's going to come to a
I know.
head.
Which I thought Vengeance killed that woman at the beginning. Then you found out, oh, she just ripped her arm off. But the way it was drawn, you thought,
Oh,
yeah,
Just ripped her arm off. I was like, how do you survive that?
yeah. But again, because you didn't see it all the way, and it's like, oh, she lived. I'm like, I guess she just ripped her
Did she
arm off.
though?
Well, we won't know until we see her again. But but I'm liking Vengeance.
Oh, my co-host on TVU thinks she's amazing because she reminds him of She-Hulk.
Which, ironically, now that she's coming back to her proper form, although isn't it sad it took the upcoming show to force their hand? Like Purchase Video when he talked about it, how they basically just kept on doubling, tripling down until finally they were told by the networks, bring her back to being sexy again.
dang it. What was her name? Thank you, Jessica.
Yep. Wait, Jessica.
Jessica.
You mean Jennifer?
Uh, nope. Um, you know who is in charge of the She-Hulk show, right?
Oh, right,
Jessica
right.
Gao,
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, right.
right. Oh, right, right. Well, I personally think it's less of that and more
probably.
Disney. It's more Disney just deciding, let's have it sync up.
I'm glad because
I
I
hated.
mean Jessica Gao is a big fan of She-Hulk, so I'm happy that it's going. You know,
Back to her being a sexy
yeah.
lawyer.
So like, if
I
people
hope
do
they
see
go
the
to. I hope.
show and
I
ends up
hope they
being
go to
good, they can
Dan.
go to the comics.
I hope they go to Dan Slott route where Jen and She-Hulk are two distinctive. It's basically She-Hulk is Jen unleashed, and she likes being She-Hulk, but that can also be to her detriment.
I think Char Soleil is also a good one. It's less comedy
Oh yeah.
than Dan Slott, but it does show her being more serious with
Oh
some
yeah.
fourth wall breaks.
Right. But
Although I did also get for my birthday the Savage She-Hulk, the original Infinite
the
Volume.
original stuff. Yeah, the original stuff that was Stan Lee's origin and other people, and then eventually Burton took over.
Yeah, I found it so weird because like I thought it was in color. It's not in color. It's in black
Oh,
and white.
you got one of those showcase type books, the little phone book
I
stuff.
guess it was like super huge, and I
Yep.
accidentally ripped a couple pages
Yeah, those things
on
are
the
those
top.
things are flimsy. Those things are flimsy.
I got so angry, and for some reason, I became nauseous while reading it because of the lack of color.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm like, okay, I can't do it.
I can see that happening. That's the case where you'd have to read it slowly.
And yeah, and there's a frick ton of dialogue on there.
That's how
There's
old
a
comics were.
lot.
That's how
And then
old
people
comics.
complain about it nowadays, and I'm
Well,
like,
I
what?
think when you I think it's also when you have the talking heads. At least there, where it's a lot worse, but each panel is distinct. It's not like when you have a Bendis book and each one is it's just the same head, just copy pasted. Let the artist just have a
Mm.
break and get a cheap paycheck.
Ah, so for the She-Hulk one, at least as I read, it's like a big gigantic
Word
bubble
balloon.
with
Oh yeah,
words
yeah. But again, at least
fitting
you still
into
had
it.
other. Yeah, but at least you still had other artwork around it.
Yeah, I would just had to like pause between her gigantic sentence, and I'm like, okay, let me take a break, and then I'll continue with what she's saying. That's how long they were sometimes.
Are you
Yep.
saying they were Bendis esque?
Like I said, it could be Bendis S, but like I was saying, was Bendis though? I mean, come on, how many times did he just repeat to have the panels repeated?
I mean, that's like a television thing, over two shot.
Oh, I know, but how annoying is that in comedy? They used to be revolutionary, but now you look back, you're like, it's lazy.
I like it.
Hey, on a different topic, what would you say has been a creator that you've seen you've liked that you always felt like, oh, they would be perfect for writing this type of book or this type of section of a comic universe, and then when they if they ever did it, then and it turns out they didn't do it well. Like a creator you thought would be perfect for a character, and when they finally got on the character, womp womp.
I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to think of one.
Well, I can give you my example to tell you to give what I'm talking about. You would think that Jim Starlin would be perfect for DC Cosmic. Uh-uh. Especially the New Gods. That was not good. And is that a good example?
I mean, I haven't read any of those things, so I can't say.
Oh.
Um,
What would you be from anything you read? Even maybe not manga because manga are the same creative team.
Hmm. If I actually had to say,
Or how about an anime studio?
anime studios less so. They're just so hard to remember everything.
Okay, fair enough. But from what you can recall,
Actually, if I had to say, it'd probably be James Tinian. I
I'm
do
Batman.
like a majority of his stuff, but like his Detective Comics was okay, and I of course I do like the Batman that's going on right now. but sometimes I feel like it's a little bit lackluster. But I feel like that's that kind of thing where like if you have a writer and he's writing for like a really long time, I'm like, well, how many ideas do you have? How many ideas can you use? And if you're going to
You
be
are.
doing it,
Are you
yep,
aware of how long Jeff Johns was on Green Lantern? Peter David was on Hulk. Chris Claremont was on X Men.
yeah.
So you could have a lot of ideas.
Mm-hmm. But I haven't read those. For now, it's just been Tinian because I've been getting like Tinian everything, and I'm like, okay, so I see some stuff that are pretty, really, really good,
Fair
and
enough.
then some other stuff I'm like, it's not as good. But I don't know if that's editing, like the editors, or like something else. Like my
Hmm.
cousin, he's reading the what's it called, Dark Justice League, Justice League Dark,
Yeah,
and
which is now a backup stories in
mm-hmm.
Justice League,
So like for a majority it's made by James Tinian,
and
but
then
for
Ram
one of
V takes
them,
over.
yes, and then one of them is both Ram V and James
Well, yeah,
Tinian.
yeah, that was
Yes.
them bridging on, as he mentioned in Tristan's interview with him.
Mhm. So I was asking my cousin like, how is it? He's like, I don't know, like the Justice League Dark made by this James guy, like he made me like Wonder Woman. And now that this the one with Ram V, he's like, I don't know, it's just so different, and I just don't feel the same feeling with when it was just James. And I feel like if I continue, I won't like the
Well, it didn't
Justice League
last
Dark
much longer
anymore.
anyway.
I know. He's still trying to get the volumes.
So, Ian, did you find one? Remember one?
Here's one: Greg Rucka on Lois Lane. You would think that
Well,
with
yeah.
Greg
Well,
Rucka's
again, that was. Well, then again, that's also a case of where he did write her great before. Hello.
right, but like you'd think that when he wrote like a solo of her, it would be perfect, but it
But
wasn't.
this is post 2016 election and post everything's got to be more progressive, Rucka. I mean, come on. You know what happened to one of his kids now like a while ago, right? They were one of his kids was at one of the riots in New York, smashing some of the building and the storefronts.
I am aware. I think that.
And I bet you, and I wonder if Rucka was proud of him. I bet.
Oh, I'm fairly certain he was. Rucka and I have never agreed. I've never agreed with Rucka on politics, but he used to be a writer who put the story
Integrity.
first.
He used to be a writer of integrity. And I'd say this. I would say his Wonder Woman was still a case of mostly story first, but he slipped stuff in.
Which one? The 2000
Rebirth, the Rebirth.
I love the Rebirth run.
Yeah.
Are you
I
mean
think
like
it's
when she had a
fantastic.
girlfriend in like the first couple of issues?
What?
I mean,
When you say slip
I don't
stuff
understand why
in,
that's a big deal.
like when you say slip stuff in, I'm like, I don't know what you mean. I'm like, did you mean that? Because
No, I just meant in general. He would slip some political stuff in, but not as much as he did with Lois.
My bad.
Yeah. Yeah, the Lois stuff, good God. And the fact it was a 12-issue maxi series we had to put up with. It just, again, what happened to the man, right? Right, he let politics take over his life. Whatever happened to Queen and Country? Did he ever finish that?
No. They actually asked him on his server about Queen and Country.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were like, "Are you going to write more Queen and Country?" And he said that when Trump was president, he couldn't because he thought everyone was too stupid at the top.
What?
No, I like
What's
I said, I
the
don't
top?
agree with him politically, but he
Now with Biden in there, he's now going back.
I don't understand how someone could think that Biden is smarter. You might agree with him.
Because he has a D next to his name. That's
Okay.
all.
More like a D in his head.
Yeah, but for people like Rucka, that's all that matters. If you have an R, they're the dumbest people on God's green earth. If they have a D, they're a genius.
Speaking of Wonder Woman, is anybody gonna get the Wonder Woman Black and
Evolution. Oh,
Gold
black and gold.
by Liam Sharp?
Well, you mean the last issue?
The last issue,
Oh,
number 6.
Of
He's
course,
gonna be
I've been
doing
getting.
the art and he's gonna be doing the story. He's gonna be the narrator.
Yeah, oh, he's done it. He's done that before. He did that with the Wonder Woman Batman crossover.
Yes, I have it, The Brave and the Bold, my
That was
favorite.
good. That was really good.
And I can't wait for his novel to come out that is more
Yep.
about mythology.
But yeah, but with his but yeah, it was. I've already been getting the other 5 issues of Black and Gold, so of course I'll get it.
Nah, Liam Sharp is the only one that matters to me. So only Liam Sharp all day, every day. He
Hey,
hasn't
hey, he
failed me
was. Hey,
yet.
you're gonna hate me. He was at Motor City Comic Con, and I got to meet him.
You turd. You keep liking to bring that up.
Unfortunately, though, I didn't have much chance to talk to him, and he was charging per autograph, no freebies ahead of time.
Like $80 per
No,
autograph.
no, 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 like $5 an autograph.
What? Like I'm in
No,
like
some of
Florida
them,
Con. People were
some
charging
others.
$50.
Oh no, that's for celebrities, not comic creators.
Those were comic creators.
I said no. Celebrities do the big bucks. Comic creators usually do not,
They were
unless they're that.
indies.
Yeah, but what I'm saying though is that, but yeah, with that, it kind of turned me off from talking to him the rest of the con because I'm like, okay,
Scooting out now.
off I scoot. I did have a good talk with Dan Jurgens, with Scott Snyder, who told me flat out, pester him for an interview. He gave me permission to pester him to do an interview.
good luck.
Congrats.
Yeah, he just said, just keep contacting me, and I'll respond.
3
I'm like,
years later.
With my luck, probably. But oh yeah, but one of the books I got from Motor City was Dan Jurgens' Captain America Omnibus.
Oh, I didn't know he
Ooh.
had that. Hang
Oh
on a
yeah,
sec. Let me show you the comic I got on Impulse this week.
what was that? Off he goes.
Oh wait, he meant impulse, like buying impulse.
Yes, yeah, on impulse, not impulse the character. I'll show the rest I got when he gets back. Oh, what is it? I couldn't see.
This is Sensational Wonder Woman number 3.
Ah,
And the reason I got it was because I found out that Eleonora Carlini did art for half of it. And she was one of my favorites back in the Batgirl Burnside run.
oh,
Look at this. Look at that picture of Wonder Woman.
oh,
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
yeah, that is. But yeah, the other books I got were these two, the Avengers, No Surrender, and No Road Home. You'll notice when I go to conventions, that's when I get my Marvel books.
Why is
I
that?
still have my huge stack to read.
I never collect regular Marvel. I just buy them when they're in collections. Or Silver Surfer Black, because Donny Cates was there. And also because Donny Cates was there, Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Nice.
That reminds me, I need
The
volume
omnibus,
2
yeah, the
of
omnibus.
Thor. By
But
Johnny.
but yeah, though, I mean, I got all those are pretty much my buys, and then Ian, I don't know if you saw my little video I did where I got audios from Mauricio Marsh and Nolan North,
Oh, nice.
and I had them recite, do Freeze and Penguin basically tossing comedic, threats at each other, but still being in character, and you'll love it. Give it a listen whenever you get a chance. I mean, B, you've heard it, right?
Which one?
My little audio was Freeze and Penguin.
No, it's on my list. I didn't listen to it yet. I don't think so. I don't think
Well, you commented on it.
Oh, I did. Okay. Like the title names sometimes
Yeah.
they go right over my head.
Oh boy, apparently the Spider-Man trailer 2 has leaked. Or at least just like the first one, some pre-elements have leaked.
I didn't see it. Probably
It's
for
on.
a
It's
Um,
good
on.
reason.
It just did it on Twitter.
are you
Oh,
wait?
it
Are you
just
talking
did?
about the one that was in the Dune showing?
Wait, what? Oh, I guess so. I guess so.
Because there was a
Dune?
Spider-Man No Way Home trailer in Dune.
I guess that's what it was. 'Cause I'm seeing people talk about stuff. Some of the stuff.
Well, I'm very angry because they're adapting Omit, and that's a slap in the face.
They're more adapting. They're adapting one element of Omit.
I don't know what we're talking
I don't
about.
One
care
moment.
how
One
many
moment.
elements. They're adapting Omit. It's like
Which
adapting
is
the Jedi Prince.
she doesn't. No, one moment in time. The follow up to One More Day to explain what changes One More Day caused.
Wait, so are they gonna do
They're
one
basically
more
doing. They're
day?
doing the no. Basically, yeah. Basically, though, I get why. Let's be honest. It was obvious the way the second one ended. They were going this route. Let's be honest.
I haven't seen the second movie.
Do
It's
you want me to
skippable.
spoil?
I already know what happens, but I have no. I didn't like the first one, so why would I see the second one?
Well, but since you know how the second one ended, though, let's be honest.
Yes,
This was the
Mysterio's like, Peter Parker killed me, he's Spider-Man.
well. They need to go a little further by having it be. Aren't those your drones? Which is fair. Which, to be honest, that is a pretty damning evidence when you can't prove that he controlled them.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But yeah, like I said, they basically it's like this. Oh, have you seen Venom: Let There Be Carnage yet?
No. I kind of want to,
No.
but was it any good? Was it as good
Uh,
as the first one?
Here's what I will say: it improved a lot on the first one.
Really?
I give both, but it also suffers some that the first one did better. And I would say this: I give both Venom movies the same ranking, 7.5 out of 10. But if
What,
there's one,
7? Wow.
but I will say this: when it comes to Carnage, I both liked it because and yet also didn't like it. What the parts I didn't like was because it was the stuff that you couldn't like. Obviously, you wanted to see comic book Carnage, but at the same time, you knew they couldn't. Both you cannot do Maximum Carnage. Even without Spider-Man, you cannot do that and tell a good movie story that sets up characters and do all that stuff within a good length of time. That's not just mindless violence.
Isn't it also PG-13?
Unfortunately, but even then, no, they do push it, but it's still disappointing me. But at the same time, no, it's like, what do you do with Carnage that gets as close to Maximum Carnage as you can get? Still tell a good, 3 act structure movie. Still have stuff for Eddie and all that, and then be able to still have a good, climax at the end.
Write a romance comedy.
Actually, the romance part, you're not far off.
What?
In this version, he and Shriek are childhood. Do you mind if I spoil that part? Ian?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Shriek and Carnage or Cletus are childhood friends. He would feel like she was one of the only good things in his life. So as soon as he gets Carnage, he wants to bust her out and marry her.
Oh.
Now, of course, as twisted they are, their gifts to the other are capturing the people that ruined their lives and then kill them at the wedding. So now would be Eddie and the cop, who's Peter Peter Milligan,
The
aka
comic
Toxin.
writer?
No, not Peter Milligan. What was the guy's name that was the Toxin? You know what I'm talking about, right? The cop that was Toxin.
Oh, wait. In the first movie?
Patrick Mulligan.
Was he in the first movie?
Oh no, that's the creator. Wait, yeah, Patrick Mulligan. That was the no. He wasn't in the first one. He was introduced in the second one.
I was
Patrick
gonna
Mulligan
say I
in the
don't remember a
comics.
cop.
No. Patrick Mulligan in the comics would be the host to into Carnage's spawn Toxin.
Mm.
And I'll also tell you this. Well, I don't want to spoil the ending for you, so I won't. Unless you don't mind. Either of you don't mind. Ian?
Up to you, B.
What?
Up to B.
B, do you want me to spoil it?
I don't really care. I haven't even seen Shang-Chi yet.
Neither have I. but I
I
am
did. I
anti
did in 90
MCU.
about. Oh, anyway, and yeah, Carnage and Cletus die.
Yes.
Carnage and Venom eats the Carnage symbiote, much like during the
Ew.
Howard Mackey written, with John Romita Sr. The
That feels like a bad idea.
and then he bites off Cletus's head, even though he's up. Like, you basically find out that Cletus, he still did bad things, but it turns out, Eddie just assumed, oh, you were crazy, but it's like, yeah, he killed his parents because they were abusing him, and of course, it made him such a bad seed and everything. Again, and basically, all he wanted from Eddie was to be his friend, and Eddie starts to actually feel for him, and then Carnage is like, I don't, and also, Shriek died as well, so they're all dead.
So, no more Carnage
No
and
more
no
Carnage.
more Shriek.
No more
But I
Shriek.
like Shriek. Shriek
But
is cool. I
now
like
they
the
do tease. They
design.
do tease that Mulligan might have his own symbiote now with the toxin one because we see his eyes go blue.
I don't care. Shriek is the only one that matters.
Well, to be fair, her death is a bit ambiguous.
It's one of those.
Yep, but yeah,
If you don't
Carnage.
see the body, they're not dead.
Now Carnage.
It
And
is a
Cletus,
comic book movie.
now Carnage and Cletus definitely dead. Definitely. Oh, and the other thing that really pissed me off. Here's the one thing that pissed me off the most. Carnage and the Cletus, they are actually not bonded as much as Venom and Eddie. They argue with each other. Why? Because Carnage sees Shriek as someone that's in his way. He doesn't like her because of her. In this version, she doesn't have light base. She actually has, shrieking abilities, like a banshee cry.
Sure.
And because of that, Carnage obviously doesn't like her. And basically, that's what causes the two to not be perfectly in sync, which I'm like, no, that's not how it works. I mean, I get why they did it. It makes sense for a movie, but it goes against everything about the character. It's also to be a case where they are so in sync that Cletus is the dominant. To the point where the symbiote barely can ever operate on its own. I mean, am I right, Ian? You're just as much of a Spider-Man fan.
Yeah, but I'm not a 90s Spider-Man fan, so this is a bunch of stuff that I'm not super familiar with.
Oh, okay. Oh, by the way, since I didn't have you, I don't think I had you on when it did. What did you think about the end? Did we talk about the end of Spencer's run?
We were just before it came out, so no, we didn't talk
Right.
about that.
So, what did you think?
I'm a little bummed that the only major retcon is Sins Past, because honestly, Sins Past doesn't freaking matter unless you're obsessed with Gwen.
Right, but I mean, what about killing off Harry for good?
Harry has
Bro,
Harry
he
been
hasn't served much.
important?
He hasn't served much purpose ever since Mad Goblin had his kid.
Right. So
Unless you count that American Son mini. True. Also, the one thing that also bothers me is what's going on with Betty. What about her kid? We never saw any hint of them since the Chameleon arc.
Yeah.
Oh, that was another story that he undid. He undid the death of Ned.
I
wish he never
I
took
really
that.
wish we knew if he was ever going to try to undo One More Day, because it felt like he was.
It did. It felt like at the very least they were going to gain their memories back. Now, I will say this. I did like how they finally gave an explanation to why the hell Mephisto would even give a fuck.
Yes. That actually was one of the better things about the ending.
Yeah, because you're just like, why did he care about, like, I want your marriage? Now we know it wasn't the marriage itself. It was what he was preventing from existing, which was Mayday.
Right.
Which he took what was looking at Joe Quesada's big, like, let's twist the dagger in these guys and actually making it important. Which makes me wonder, do you think he was doing this because he really wanted to put One More Day into context? Or do you think he really wanted to get people to stop hating on Joe?
I don't know what his relationship with Joe is like.
I'm joking. I'm joking when I say that. I just wish he never took that deal. Otherwise, he probably would still be on the book. Because I'll be honest, I did not like this. I love Zeb Wells as a writer. I did not like that start of the Beyond stuff. It just feels so. We're dealing with trademarks and all that, and then Peter gets the shit beat out of him.
I mean, I'm still more sad that Tynan is leaving Batman than Spencer's leaving Spider-Man.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I really like Tynan. I like him on Batman a lot.
I'm glad to hear that because I'm so tired of people bashing Tynion on there. Wes.
Well, I think that Wes is just the kind of guy who wants things to go back to the way they were when he liked Batman comics, whenever that was. Because he spent every second of his channel hating on Tom King for 3 years.
Yep.
And then there's his video that came out. Who was worse, Tom King or James?
Oh, I
Tynion?
hated
And I'm
that.
like,
I hated
what?
that.
The
It's
answer is
obviously
neither.
Tom
They're
King.
both good. Go suck a toe.
Ah! Okay.
I mean, if you had to pin me down and threaten to beat the hell out of me, I would say Tynion was better.
I can't say
So
that because
aggressive.
before Tom King, I didn't like Bruce Wayne.
Period?
Period. I liked the Bat Family. I didn't like Bruce Wayne.
Really?
Oh yes.
For me,
Well, remember,
Tom
when
King
did
was
I
my
start
first
reading
Batman
comics, Robert?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
I started reading comics at War Games, which is Batman
Oh, you were at the peak of Bat Dickery.
at the worst of Batman. So
Yeah,
I
you were
hated
right as they were
Batman.
building. Why as they were making him worse to build up to Infinite Crisis.
Yeah, so I hated Batman for a long time, and Tom
Okay,
King
that's
got me to
fair.
get over that.
That is fair. Okay, I will give you that. That is fair. And I think that's the problem I have with so many of these anti-SJWs, that they feel their era was best. And the funny thing is, so many of them were saying the 90s was best, when unfortunately the 90s did not set good standards unless you were at DC.
Yep.
DC was the only one that had good standards of comic writing still.
And I
Marvel
think that's
was...
because you had.
Well, they were still number 2 the whole time, so they didn't feel like they had to, they had to keep on taking chances.
Right, but Denny O'Neil was the Bat editor, and who was the Superman editor?
Mike Carlin. And they were there ever since the 80s.
You had these two guys who were veterans who knew good storytelling, and they hired writers they trusted.
And were possessive of the two title characters. I mean, Mike Carlin is notorious for how possessive he was and making sure, like, you got to run everything through me. Part of the reason why you had Jeff Loeb being banned ever since for the longest time until Eddie Berganza took over, because he slipped in a Superman robot reference in his The Challengers of the Unknown maxi series.
Oh, interesting.
Because the editor said, "Oh, just slip it in, and then Mike Carter heard about it. He was pissed and said, "Jeff Loeb will, as long as I'm here, will never work on Superman." But because he was also protective of more of the fact that he didn't want any creators who wanted to backtrack to the Silver Age, especially that early on.
The problem is when you do that, you end up getting a backlash. Because Danny O'Neil's big thing is Bruce Wayne is celibate. He has no sex with anyone. As soon so there's actually a really awesome thing. If you go to Scott Peterson's website, Scott Peterson was assistant editor.
I remember.
He did the Bat Bible. He posted the Bat Bible that Denny O'Neil wrote, and it's a big thing. Batman is celibate, and so nobody could have Batman sleep with anybody for 10 years. What happens after Denny O'Neil leaves?
Oh,
everybody sleeps with Batman.
Hush finally gets going.
Everyone has sex with Batman. It's a backlash.
Granted, you could say that after the events of No Man's Land, that kind of would trigger that in Bruce, right? But you're right though. After Mike Carlin left, one of the first things they did was Our World's at War, which leading up to it, they had to be, Superman has these mental blocks. Let's get rid of him and bring him back as close to the Silver Age power level without being Storybreaker.
Yep.
Now, I will give him this, though. They still had stipulations. Like, he can move planets, but only if he goes into the sun and charge himself up.
That's like reasonable.
Yeah, it's like those are because that's what he did during our World at War. He went in the sun, came flying out, and started pushing a planet. And but then now what also didn't help was before Carlin left, and this was an even bigger notorious one. Did you ever hear about the? It was going to be a storyline that you had Grant Morrison, Mark Millar, and Jeff Loeb were all working a way to try and reverse everything back to Silver Age, undo the wedding, undo everything. And it was all while Mike Carlin was on vacation. They, basically whoever the editor was, put this, had him put this pitch together. Carlin got back, got wind of it. He was beyond pissed. In fact, that was part of the reason why Superman Red Sun took forever to come out. Because remember, there was teased a little bit back during the Kingdom, and then it took until the 2000s before that book finally came out.
Which book?
Superman Red Sun. Do you remember the Kingdom? Do you remember the Kingdom event?
Wasn't that like sort of spinning out of Mark Waid's Kingdom Come?
Yeah, Mark Waid was giving that, and that's where he introduced Hyper Time.
Okay. And I haven't read either Kingdom Come or the Kingdom.
Okay, well, in the final issue of that event, the Kingdom #2, you had they introduced the Hyper Time. You see all of these different Elseworld stories, including stuff like Superman, Batman Generations, of which Byrne hated. He did not like. Oh no, it's not part of another world. It's just its own little thing. A typical Byrne. But one of the images you see there is Soviet Superman blocking the train like he does in issue 1. And this was back in hold on. This was back in '99. And Superman Red Sun didn't come out until 2003. So, but because Mark Millar was part of that little cabal, he put a ban on it, saying you can't, and we're not releasing this now. Because you want to know how they were going to undo the wedding? Lex.
I think I heard about that.
Yeah, basically in this version, Lex found out who Superman is. Now, Jeff Johns would take this general idea and do the ending battle story arc, but it played out very differently. Originally, Lex finds out who Clark is, systematically starts destroying his life, and then infects Lois with some kind of virus that it will kill her. But but it's like it's somehow connected to she will die so long as she remembers. It's like it's a memory type of thing that will kill her if she remembers everything going on. So basically,
you know what that sounds like?
What?
It sounds like what they did with Lana in Smallville.
Basically, yeah, and basically they're saying.
And didn't Jeff Johns work on Smallville?
No. Only a few story episodes. No. Jeff Johns had nothing to do with this. I'm talking about what Mark Millar, Jeff Loeb, and Grant Morrison had, not what Johns did.
Oh, okay.
I said Johns was a different story. This original pitch, though, was what they wanted, and basically the whole point was going to be that they would have to mind wipe Lois, and they have to go back to the love triangle again.
No,
they can never get together ever because if she would remember and it would kill her. So basically, they were trying to say not only are they going to stay broke up, they can never get married ever again because again, Wade hated it, and he was able to convince Millar and Morrison on it.
Do not want.
What do you see now? Why Carlin was so pissed off he banned them?
Yep.
I found it very interesting that I would always like to read the comments of people's experience in comics. When I was first watching Wes's videos long time ago.
Check out that link I just sent, by the way.
Cool. I will click.
In the private chat. Okay, but anyway, keep going. What were you saying?
And on 2 separate videos, there was 2 separate people. Both of those people were older, and they both said their experience. One of them said that he stopped reading comics in the 80s because he thought the 80s were woke. And the other one said that he stopped reading comics in the 90s because he thought the 90s were woke. And I'm like, well,
what?
what was woke
What?
during those years? Like, what's considered
Oh,
woke to you during the
oh,
80s or the 90s?
one quick thing, Ian. Basically, consider this pitch Superman's one more day that they dodged.
No,
That's
no.
basically what this was. This was basically one more day, right down to the whole. They have one more night together before he, Mixie erases Lois's memory. Because basically, actually, it was Brainiac who, according to this, who did it. Basically, like memory, as science is only now theorizing, are not electric in nature. They are in fact chemical deposits. And what is chemical can easily be turned to poison. And thus, he adjusted Lois's chemical memory of Clark's secret identity so that it's killing her and it cannot be removed. It can be masked, but it cannot be removed. And basically, the whole idea is to alter history so that she never knew.
I just I strongly disapprove of this choice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, did I say the 90s? Oh, I'm pretty sure that guy said the 70s, not the 90s.
That's
So one
even
of
worse.
I know.
The 70s were woke.
He said he considered the 70s or the 80s. One of them considered the 70s to be considered woke, and the other one considered the 80s to be woke, and so that's why they stopped reading comics during
How
that
would they even know what
time.
woke meant back then?
I don't know. That's what I want to know.
That is stupid.
Because I'm like, okay, that's interesting, but like I wasn't commenting on people's comments during that time, so I'm like, I want to know what it is, but I have anxiety.
That
I don't
that
want to
is
talk to
that
you.
is that is a case of someone they're retroactively just bullshitting reasons.
Oh, there was also a customer I have. He had like a comic shirt, but nothing like Marvel or DC. But it was like those really old, not comic strips. Maybe it was comic strips. Not sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, that's was that a comic? And he's like, yeah, I used to read comics back in the day. And he's like 50 plus years old. And I'm like,
Ah.
oh, what made you stop? And I was thinking of the usual, what everybody says nowadays. And he was like, well, honestly, I found rock and roll. And I'm like,
Oh,
that's
one of
it?
those. Okay.
And
Okay.
he's like, yeah, I
Hey.
found a new hobby.
Okay. Hey, I'm not surprised on that one. That happens.
And I
I
asked
mean,
him,
remember that
why
back
can't you do
then.
both? And he's like, I
Well,
don't,
back
I
then
just
it
like
was
rock
sort
and
of
roll
seen
more.
that comics were immature.
Exactly. That was back when, remember the whole
Mm,
idea of comics, our kids like, ha ha, you read comics, you baby.
it's still happening now, though. And for some
For
reason,
different reasons. For different
different
reasons.
reasons. Like I was talking to somebody who's around my age, and he was like, apparently, getting into manga and anime is considered cool, but if you get into comics, you're considered a
Oh,
nerd. And I'm like, it's the same thing. And he's like, yeah, but they don't know that.
oh. So your person you're talking to doesn't believe that, but the people he's around believed it.
Yes.
Okay. That's different. Sorry. You had me worried that your friend was saying that.
No, no, no. It was just some random person I was talking to. Every time somebody says, "Hey, I'm a Gen Z," and I'm like, "Oh, so am I." Hi.
Yeah, Zoomers.
Yeah, Zoomers.
Though I have to keep on proving to everybody that I'm Gen Z. I'm like, what? Like Gen Z started 1995,
What
not
did they think you are?
1994, not nine. Like everybody was telling me that Gen Z started in 1999, and I'm like, no, it started 1995. It skipped
Unfortunately,
1994.
I'm a millennial.
Don't say unfortunately.
It is
Given how a
unfortunate.
lot of them, given how a lot of them act,
I mean, people are blaming Gen Z right now for a lot of
Gen
crap
Z has a better
too.
chance though than my group, my Eric group.
We
I
have
wish I
Gen
could be
Z
Gen X,
people.
quite honestly.
We have Gen Z people making titles. Oh my gosh, why is Gen Z so stupid? And I'm like, I understand that though, but the Gen Z people I meet are kind of smart. I've
Well, I
never
mean,
met a
trying to
dumb Gen
characterize
Zer
entire
yet.
generations is always going to be dumb.
Right, but like I said, but hey, as I was saying with that pitch, I mean, we just look through all that. Like that, that was Mark Millar, Grant Morrison, Tom Pyre, and Mark Wade. Now, of course, after doing this pitch, Morrison would go on and after he met with that one guy, cosplayer as Superman, and everything, opened his eyes to how to handle Superman. That's eventually what, he actually got a better understanding of Superman through that, and thus led into All Star and everything.
Should have showed it to Brandon Easton.
Brandon Easton, are you nuts?
Was it Brandon Easton? I don't remember.
Brandon Easton is the guy who's been doing that Mr. Miracle book.
Brandon Easton's
Who
the guy
did
who makes me wish it was Brandon Thomas all the time.
Oh yeah. Oh god, I'm glad I finally got Tristan to get that right. That kept driving me nuts. After you was like, "Oh, Brandon Thomas. Oh, geez, yeah, he's bad." I'm like, "You're thinking about Easton again." Oh, whoops.
I was thinking of Truth and Justice, number 2. I
No, that
finally
was
read
Easton.
it.
That was Easton. That was
Yeah,
Easton.
I I get into these rants in my head. When I'm getting really irritated, I don't yell. It's all in my head, and I had this whole convo of how this one line could have been changed and how they could have made it better. And I'm like, oh, if he would have done that, it would have been so much better. I think Tristan talked about it too. Uh, Superman saying silly teenage things.
Oh yeah, stuff like that. Again, clearly didn't understand the character, like John Ridley. Oh,
Ah,
by the way, Ian, what did you think about the big death?
I'm in I Am Batman.
Yeah,
I'm
Anarchy, really?
more than a little pissed off.
And it's right, he went down like a bitch.
Yep, I hate it. I
If I
hate it
remember
when
right,
people do that.
if I remember right, didn't even Alan Grant admit he didn't mind, he didn't care for it, but he didn't mind the idea of how Anarchy had been handled in the Arkham games, which is basically what New 52 went with.
I don't know. I haven't seen Alan Grant's comments on the subject.
Yeah, I think he said he didn't fall on approve, but he understood why they did it. But yeah, though, it's just like so. But well, at least we know that um Jace is and wait, who am I thinking about now?
Jesus.
Um, Batwing.
Oh, Jace.
Yeah, at least we know Jace is safe. He wasn't the one that had the target on him.
That title, like, I'm still willing to give it a chance, but I am just majorly irritated with Ridley.
I thought you were
I
going to say
know
burnt out.
that too.
I mean, I was never excited about him, so it'd be hard for me to be burnt out.
Right, but I would say he did the next Batman, it wasn't bad. And all that stuff about he fixed Gotham, that wasn't in Ridley's book. That was in the Justice League book.
So next Batman, I thought was fine, but it was such a small story. Like, it was a really little story.
But like I
I
said,
preferred Second Son. I thought Second Son was a better book.
wait, Second Son, which was that?
It's the book between Next Batman and I Am Batman.
Oh,
It's
that one. Oh, yes, that one.
the
Although,
digital first.
right, that one, right. Yeah,
I
that
thought
wasn't
that was
bad,
actually pretty good.
but it still started to show the problems, of course, by the end of it.
Yeah, the fact that he still refused to tell why Tim chose the name Jace.
Well, not just that, but what he did with Lucius.
Yeah, well, I get the feeling he really doesn't like Lucius. Like,
I bet you he feels Lucius has been a guy who's been subservient to the white guy, and he's trying to.
I think he thinks that Lucius is a sellout.
And why else would he reveal, oh, ever since Robin appeared, he's been wanting to undermine Bruce? You don't do that unless you've been feeling like, oh, I got to retcon this guy's entire history and he's just been biding his time.
Yeah, I did not like that.
Seriously, again, I accepted it back during the Warzone one shot where it was made clear. You seem to think, oh, it's because of the Joker toxin was still in him. Now you find out, nope.
Yeah.
Why do I have a feeling that the editor originally told him that, and then later on decided, do what you want.
I
The way that story was written, it felt like it was still trying to keep a good balance of, okay, you can say some of the things you want, but you gotta backpedal still.
I'm still just really mad that he's trying to downplay Tim, I mean, Luke's my man.
Luke, that's what I say about Luke. Yeah, Luke. It's just everyone likes this.
He's
And
treating
but
Luke
again,
so badly.
why? Because he's not a blank slate. He probably.
Right. He
Why do I have
wants
a
his
feel? Why do
own.
I have a feeling that he decided to be Luke? I don't think editorial did. I think he decided. You know what? I want my own blank slate. Who else can I do that's a fox? Oh, this Tim guy. Oh, I'll call him Jace instead and just make him be my own character. I'll reference the old stuff, but nope, he's my character. I
Oh
don't want
man,
to deal
did
with the
you
baggage.
you saw that they're doing a Luke Fox omnibus, right?
They are.
I Yes. I am pretty sure that they were originally planning the next Batman to be Luke.
Oh yeah.
Well, and Tynan has also said the same thing in his newsletter.
Oh wait. Apparently they canceled that a while ago.
I think they
And was
brought it back.
replaced with a trade. Yeah, it got canceled in May,
Oh, really?
and then they decided to reduce it instead to Batwing Luke Fox trades instead.
Hmm. Let me see. Is this? It is paperback. So
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with paperback.
Well, no, nothing wrong, but obviously he's been waiting for the omnibus.
it's not as
Omnibus
beautiful
paperback.
as the hardcovers.
I know, especially with them being oversized too.
Just fit it all in. It'll work somehow.
So, did you guys see Dune?
What Dune? No, I have not. Have you?
I did see Dune. Did you
How
see
was
Dune,
it?
Bianca?
It's not interesting to me.
Me
I look
neither.
at it and I'm
I've
like,
never been a Dune
ugh.
guy. I have never been a Dune guy.
I'm
The
glad
only
to hear
thing
you
I
say
ever
that
know, the
because
only
I
thing
was
I
very
ever,
bored.
I'll say the only thing I know from Dune is, and we've got worms the like of which God has never seen, and Father the Sleeper has awakened.
I assume that's from the old movie.
Yep.
Oh, that reminds me. I was looking at Tristan's. She pinned a YouTube video of somebody talking about the Dune, and that in the novel there's like brown aliens, but in the movie all of them are minorities.
Wait, I don't see her having a pin comment.
Uh, woo! It was some guy named Mike Landis. It was
That one.
on
Oh,
the
that one.
community
That
feed.
video. That video. I don't think she was going intentionally for connecting to Dune, but yeah, I mean, she felt the one where she said it's a good conversation starter.
Yeah.
I
That's
gotta
a good
say,
conversation
Landis does
starter.
show he has a good idea, understanding of things. He's still a bit coked out of his mind, if you ask me, but at the same time, though, he does know what he's talking about compared to others who are currently writing comics.
I thought Landis was persona non grata.
Pretty much, he's just been saying stuff on his own YouTube channel, especially talking about what he ever had in mind, speaking his mind on everything. But yeah, he pretty much is persona non grata.
I don't know who that is.
That means no one talks about him. No one deals with him anymore.
Oh.
He was Me Too'd pretty hard.
Yep.
And I have no idea if he deserved it or not.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
It's like you're not into that whole conversation, so you're like,
Well, I was never that big a fan of his stuff. Like, I liked some of his stuff. Like, I thought American Ultra was actually a pretty funny movie, and I enjoyed Bright, but I didn't love them enough to be like, oh, I'm a big fan.
What about what was the one that got his name going? The one with the superheroes that kind of got the director to do Fan Four Stick.
Oh, Chronicle. I really like Chronicle.
Yeah, he did
actually.
Chronicle. Also, he did Superman American Alien.
Yes,
Are
I
we
wasn't
talking
that
about, like,
impressed with American
shows?
Alien.
Wait. You're both
Chronicle
talking
was
at
a
once.
movie. American Alien was a comic. American Ultra and Bright were both movies. He was primarily a screenwriter.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he's the son of John Landis, the director.
I don't know who that is.
Me neither.
Hold on.
Robert.
Blues Brothers, American Werewolf in London, Kentucky Fried Movie, Beverly Hills Cop, Coming to America. He directed the Thriller and Black and White music videos.
Huh. That's a pretty big name.
Yep. I should rephrase that. He did Beverly Hills Cop 3, not the
Oh,
first
that's a
two.
slightly less big name.
And unfortunately, while he did the first Blues Brothers, he also did the 2000.
Still,
Well, oh, and apparently he worked on the Clue movie
really, as
as a
what?
story and executive producer.
Huh.
I love that movie. That's one of my favorite movies. I wish more people would actually do. If they do board game movies, they follow that example.
Still never seen it.
Oh, you should.
I
Let me ask you something,
know.
Ian. Which way do you prefer it? Watching where you only get randomized one ending, or the one where you have all three endings at once?
All three endings.
Apparently,
I
there was a
like
fourth ending they never shot.
I like to know things. I'm not a
Me
big
Right.
fan of not
too.
knowing things.
And speaking of knowing things, I need somebody to remind me, was Batman versus Bigby supposed to be only a two-parter or a four-parter?
it's,
Or...
It's a
it's more than that.
six-part.
It's like it's a six-parter, right?
It's a six-part miniseries.
Six
Yeah.
part, thank God, because I'm like, oh, this is a weird ending. I hope it doesn't get
Yeah.
better.
Oh, hey, good question. Did you ever read the Batman the Max mini?
No, it looked too weird.
That's kind of the point.
Is it, but Batman the Max is the name?
Batman and the Max. That's where
And the
that character, the Max, that big guy with these claw hands and these
He looks
giant
like
teeth.
very, very 90s.
Well, he was made in the 90s by Sam Keith.
Right. He's
But
like
yeah.
Azrael on steroids.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
Visually.
Not even visually. Come on, the big teeth and everything.
Spikes. It's all spikes.
Hold on a second. Let me just get a good image.
oh, Tristan did a interview with
And
Yeah,
Jeremy
I saw
Adams.
that.
Oh,
I should watch that.
I'm late.
yeah, part one of two, and part one of two.
Part one. Oh man, I'm always missing these things. It
Um,
said it was like hours ago. I wasn't
oh yeah,
I was
notified.
at work.
yeah, both of you are at work.
But I still get a notification at least, like on a banner or something like that.
Did you? But you were there at the stream, of course. That was me and her.
Yes. And then I was on my Lyft ride listening to it to you guys with a bad connection.
But yeah, part one of it. Oh yeah, my interview with Jeremy Adams was very good. Did you see that, Ian?
Of course. I thought I commented. Nope. Did I forget?
No.
Oh, I feel bad now.
Let me double check.
You better.
Yeah, you. Oh yeah, I had Jimmy Palmiotti a few days ago. Nope. BM did, and Bianca did.
That was
Oh.
me. Yes. I'm better than you, Ian.
You are better than me.
And I had Chuck Dixon a few weeks ago.
Oh, really?
That one was a fun
Yeah.
stream. I asked about Tim, and I'm like, yes, you must talk about Tim.
Well,
Oh,
are you
no,
at all?
did we?
Are you at all into Jimmy Palmiotti at all, dude?
Not really.
Let me guess. You don't like the changes he and Amanda did to Harley that have since stuck.
So, I think that in general, the direction he and Amanda took Harley in wasn't bad. I just don't appreciate how violent it was. And I understand it was coming from the New 52, where she was literally slaughtering children.
Well, there was
So they
that.
actually toned it down quite a bit.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Especially when they redid the origin after that controversial backstory. I've heard, yeah, setting video games at kids and then blowing them up.
I remember that whole controversy thing in the New 52.
What the hell?
I was like looking a video on it, and I wasn't reading comics at that time, but I'm like, oh my gosh, she's
I think
killing
I
this
think we
children.
broke Ian.
Ian, are you alive?
What?
Yeah,
He's
I,
alive.
I was bringing up about
No,
what happened to Harley.
I'm commenting.
Which one are you
Oh,
commenting on?
Yeah, with the killing
on
kids.
the Jeremy Adams one.
Oh, right. But I would say that was the whole
Yes,
about
they should
Harley.
not.
I know, because that was beyond like what the hell? What were they thinking?
Yeah, but so I don't hate their, but I also don't really enjoy it compared to like Sam Humphries. And I know they laid the foundation for it,
Right.
but I'm just not as big a fan of black humor in terms of just like a lot of death and violence. So that's also why I didn't really like the Birds of Prey Harley Quinn movie.
Well, yeah, because they took out so
Um,
much from that.
it's basically a straight up adaptation of that version of the character, and I think that's fair. I mean, that version of the character is what made that comic a star. So I'm not
Yep.
taking away from his comic. It's just not my
I will
thing.
say. I will say this though.
Um,
I will say this though. I think that Suicide Squad got a better balance. The Suicide Squad.
yes, I agree. Well, I
I mean, come on,
didn't.
the
Well,
I
fly. Come
didn't
on, that
hate
definitely.
the
fly. That
original
fly.
Suicide Squad movie.
Oh, that too. Yeah. But although I gotta say, you know what I still think was the best stuff they did with Harley was the Harley and the Birds of Prey stuff. You know, the Black Label book.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. I forgot they were doing that.
I thought that's what the Birds of Prey movie should have been. You know, tweaked a little bit, of course.
I found it so weird because in that in that comic, the Black Canary, she's still white, blonde haired,
Well,
right?
yeah. Again, I didn't. I say they would have to make changes. Obviously, I just said I wish that was
Yeah.
the story.
I was like so confused because I'm like, what if somebody heard about they were making a comic and then they and read it and they're like, well, how come she's not black like in the
Well, then they would have to point
movie?
out saying she's never been black in the comics.
And then they're like, well, why would you do
I
this?
do not
Why would you do
understand.
this?
They made Huntress black in the comics, and then for the movie, they put Huntress white again and made Black Canary black.
Yeah, I
That's so
think it was.
confusing to me.
I think they wanted to go as
You
all her
saw
name.
that too?
Yep, I was here. I think it's because they're like her name's Black Canary. She needs to be black.
That's so stupid, though.
Well, agreed. That's one of those things that I will agree with a lot of the reactionaries.
And especially for Huntress as a child, she was so dark skinned, and then as an adult woman, she's like super light skinned. And I'm like, how did you just not go in the sun for all your
No
years?
tanning
Or
allowed for Helena.
Now what did you think of Black Mask?
I didn't like him, but I don't like Black Mask, period.
As a character?
Yeah, so I didn't expect to like him.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, it's sort of like
don't-
asking me, what did you think of the Joker? I don't like the Joker. I don't care. I
What?
just didn't like it.
You don't like the Joker?
We haven't talked about this?
I don't think we have.
Okay, so I got into comics in 2005 when Batman Begins came out, and I just started going to the bookstore and reading trades. I was in college. And I read like No Man's Land and Hush and Bruce Wayne Murderer. Like those were the things that were on shelves in 2005 because they basically happened in the last 5 years, right? So I read No Man's Land. How does No Man's Land end?
Okay, you're right. With that starting point, you are absolutely right.
I hate the Joker.
Oh, by the way, here's what the Max looks like.
Spiky.
But
Wait.
where do you see Azrael? Where do you see Azrael?
Where are you sharing it?
That's from the
No,
comic.
I don't see it. Where's
You don't see it? You don't.
Did you send a link?
Oh wait, I found out where.
Oh, he looks very cartoony.
That's a different cover than the one I was looking at.
You're looking at the one where he's facing forward,
Let me
and
see.
his teeth, and you don't see his teeth. You see his teeth more pointing downward.
Mm.
In that case, I would understand when you're saying he looks like Azrael, but this is how he normally looks.
Okay, I
Does
think I know. I think I know what's going on here.
What?
So, let's see.
Send me the link and I'll put it in.
Um, okay, here we go.
Hold
So
on.
here's the
Copy.
image, and it's a combination of the expressions and how tall the ears are.
Okay, you're talking about Batman now. I was talking
Yes.
about. Well, come on. That
Oh,
looks
I've seen
that
that
that,
cover.
that looks just like
Kelly Jones.
Kelly Jones's.
Kelly Jones's ears are too tall.
Yeah, but I would say this, I accept it for the vampire one. It gives him a distinct look, and
Well, yes,
it
I
only works there.
agree,
It only works. It
but he
only
does
works
that
for
for
the
normal
vampire.
too.
Oh, and I agree. And if he does any of them that are not in continuity, I can accept it. But when they're in continuity, it looks stupid as fuck.
That being said, Kings of Fear was actually a pretty decent miniseries.
Oh yeah. I gotta ask you, what would you say is your is the definitive joke and scarecrow story that you've read? To point out, Tristan did that one that was during that Greg Hurwitz did during Dark Knight.
Um,
Yeah, if you want to include Arkham Knight, if you want to count that one.
I mean, I like Scarecrow, obviously in Batgirl. He was in the
Right.
first arc of Batgirl.
Right?
I also liked him in No Man's Land. There's an arc where he and Huntress are trapped in a church at the beginning of No Man's Land,
Oh.
and that's a really fascinating arc. I like that one a lot. I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was Scarecrow.
Hold on, let me look. Um, yeah, I think it was.
Yes, it was.
Yep.
It was part of Devin Grayson's Scarecrow Huntress stuff that she was doing at the time.
Let me guess, Tom. This also helped you really like Helena, right? When you went into No Man's Land.
Yes. I love Helena Bertinelli, and No Man's Land is a huge part of that.
And made you hate Batman more because he was so unfair to her.
He was. You are starting to see the history.
Oh, and Joker shot Huntress.
So many times. And then, of course, Jim Lee's like, oh, that was just, she's fine now. She can wear a belly shirt.
Oh, did you ever see Tristan's video she did of basically coming up with her own version of a Tales from the Dark Multiverse version of No Man's Land?
No, that sounds fascinating.
I helped her out with it. You want to know what happened?
What?
Basically, the idea, what the divergence is what if Batman didn't leave?
Ah, but wouldn't that make it better?
You would think, but remember, given the concept of the dark multiverse, it's never going to get better. But so basically, throughout all of this, it starts to get better. He works with Gordon and everything, but what was the name of that the cop, the SWAT guy who was
Pettit.
corrupt? What?
Pettit.
Pettit.
Bill
He gets
Pettit.
jealous. He gets jealous. He starts to feel like this should have been my time.
So does he kill Gordon?
No. He goes to Penguin and works a deal, and he's arrogant enough to think like, oh, I'll deal with Penguin afterwards.
Not a good plan.
And basically it leads to everyone but Gordon, Batman, Huntress. Because that's the other thing. Batman and Huntress are working together a bit more here. He gets to her early and tells her, you follow my rules or no go. You know what I mean? And but yeah, you have them and Renee. Everyone, including Harvey, gets slaughtered.
Oh boy.
And Pettit gets killed as well for his trouble.
Well, I mean, he did that in the original comic too, so whatever.
Yeah, but then it gets worse.
Oh boy.
Do you remember who Harvey brought in the No Man's Land?
Kane.
Yep. And during this, though, instead, because Batman's on, he's still there, Kane does not get sent out right away. Because, Batman, like, by the time he was going to, he goes missing after, Penguin attacked. So during this, we basically had to be, for sake of convenience, Harvey and Kane are talking, and Kane, brings up about, now, remind me, Kane knew he trained Bruce, right?
Yes.
He brings that up, and Harvey puts two and two together.
Oops.
And he goes and attacks the manor and has Alfred call Bruce before he kills him.
How I thought Wayne Manor was cut off from Gotham and No Man's Land?
Oh, crud. I did not realize that part.
Because if you ever look at the maps, Gotham is on this island, and then Wayne Manor's up on the north side, and then Burnside's on the west side, and but it's actually not on Gotham Island proper.
Oh, but it still got hit by the earthquake.
Yes, but Bruce, I mean, if you read Cataclysm, Bruce Wayne knew it was coming, so he...
What?
Haven't you read Cataclysm?
I guess, I still find it weird that Wayne Manor and Arkham Asylum are next to each other.
Are they?
But according to the map.
How next to each other are they?
Hold on.
Connected by a forest.
Just a moment.
I always thought that Arkham was in the south.
Do you see it? There's Wayne Manor. There's Arkham Asylum.
Wait, are you sharing the screen?
Oh, I didn't do it again. There's Wayne Manor. There's Arkham Asylum.
That makes no sense.
That's bizarre.
Now, of course, I'm assuming that the Drake family house is in between somewhere.
Well, yeah, because they're
super dangerous.
But that means, though, if Arkham Asylum is over here, how did people get from the asylum to the city?
You would have to walk that far just to commit some crime. I would have given up.
But so yeah, if they can get from the asylum to the city, they can get to the manor.
See, here's a different map. Hold on a sec.
Send me the link and I'll share it.
In this one, you still have Wayne Manor at the northeast. No, let me think. Yeah, the northeast corner above the island, but Arkham itself is actually centrally located.
Well, to be fair, that other one I showed was on a comic cover.
I actually don't know the source of this one.
Archie Goodwin International Plaza, of course. Amusement Mile.
I see Wayne Manor, but where is the...
Arkham is this big island to the west.
To the west.
I don't know my west.
Okay, there it is.
Souths.
There's Arkham.
Oh, okay, cool. You share the screen. Yay.
Yep, and okay, there's Wayne Manor, and the bridge was totaled.
Let me see if anyone else has it in the same place.
All right.
Because I actually haven't paid attention to where Arkham is before.
Now, to be fair, though, this would align with the Arkham City games.
Where's Arkham City? Because
you know why? Because you know why? How many times have you had a Riddler question where you have to both see Wayne Manor off in the distance and you see Arkham Asylum off in the distance?
Oh, I still couldn't see I still couldn't see the asylum.
Oh.
I'm just so blind.
Look towards the middle section.
Okay, middle.
Like the middle left.
Middle left.
It says Arkham Asylum right there.
I said I'm blind. I see Gotham U. I see Gotham Water District Tunnel.
Hold on again. Let me look. Anyone who's watching this after the fact, let us know how we did here. This is invigorating, isn't it?
Ah, yes, everyone looking at maps.
Checking out the maps of a fictional
Found
city.
it! I found it! It
Yay!
was not in the middle. It was like
Okay,
the
if
top
I
middle.
should have said between the two islands. I should have said.
I still wouldn't have gotten it.
Well,
It would
technically,
have been
couldn't
like
some
next to the
wait,
Tri-Great Bridge. It would have been better.
no, technically, couldn't someone take a boat from Amusement Mile to the manor?
Unless you're a crocodile guy, Killer
No,
Croc.
no, oh no, but, Ian, couldn't they?
Yeah, you could.
And if this Two Face we're talking about, he'd do it.
Dang it. I
But anyway,
deliberately reblogged the map that I saved
but
so long
basically,
ago.
but basically, the whole gist is though that combining with already being betrayed and everything. Oh, and I should point out, Gordon got shot. He's not dead, but he got shot. It's starting to cause Batman to lose it. He is breaking fast. But you want to know what pushes Helena over the edge?
But
Cassandra is sent to assassinate Gordon. Now, when she
oh
gets
boy.
there, she freezes, but not wanting to take chances, Huntress shoots her. And finding out she shot a kid makes Helena break too.
Oh boy.
And
That's too
basically,
dark.
and then
Shooting an
basically,
adult, completely fine. Shooting a kid, oh no.
but she's a teacher.
I don't care.
But anyway, but basically, and then Batman digs out the old Asbat armor, and Helena comes up with her own version of it. And you know what? The first thing, and I'm proud. I suggested this moment. Goes after Two Face, attacks him, holds him down, flips the coin. It comes up good, but then with the claw scratches it. Basically saying there is no good side. And he kills Tooth and Harvey.
Oh my gosh.
And basically, Batman just starts wiping everyone out. And then he says he basically feels like Gotham can't be saved, but at the same time, he doesn't want it to be repaired. He's just going to just protect what is left. How does that sound?
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that.
And oh yeah, and of course even Kane gets killed too. But come on, how is that? I mean, you're a Cassandra fan. What do you feel about Huntress shooting her?
That would break Huntress for sure. Because she
Yeah,
cares about kids a lot.
yeah. So yeah, just and again, does that make sense for that brief moment where she freezes? Like she's like because she of course Kane didn't tell her that Gordon was hurt. And this is Cassandra. She wouldn't kill a hurt man, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, Cassandra wouldn't kill anyway.
Well, but it is at the point though when right before she, like she's still, doing what her father said. This is before she left. Or wait, how did it play out again? You're more the Cassandra guy than me.
Well,
Didn't she? Wasn't she? Yeah, sorry.
Originally, she was going to. She
was there. She was sent to No Man's Land to kill someone, wasn't she?
No, she would actually left Kane about 5 to 6 years earlier after she killed someone in Southeast Asia.
Oh, right. The one where he said, go say hello, and then...
Yeah.
All right, well, in this version...
She was actually acting independently when she was in No Man's Land.
All right. So... we'd have to tweak that a little bit, but similar thing, though. She thinks that, Helena thinks that Cassandra's there to kill Gordon... and just taking no chances after what happened. Again, you can't blame her, can you?
Nope.
Yeah, kills her, and then it just finds out like she was wearing a mask and everything, and so when she unmasked it, she's just a kid, But yeah, basically though, yeah, Huntress and Batman. Basically, Batman starts to do Huntress's way of things, and they end up becoming the and she becomes Batwoman, and they become the king and queen of Gotham, basically. Not in that sense, but just in the sense of they rule it with an iron fist. What's left of Gotham, anyway. I mean, obviously we're skipping a whole lot of stuff, but for the sake of doing it in one of those one shots, I think that's a pretty good way of doing it, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think that works.
Yep, and again, just the idea of just Batman. Because would you agree that would break him? Both being betrayed so badly and having Gordon, shot, and then right afterwards having Two Face kill Alfred all at once,
Yeah.
and then after Huntress breaks, she starts encouraging him more. That would do it, right? It's just if you were to pick a story for a dark multiverse, what would you want? Like any bat story, probably War Games, I bet, right?
I mean, that's already Dog Multiverse.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think about one where Stephanie can come out on top but still be corrupted.
Oh, that'd be
Like
interesting.
what if she becomes like the queen of crime by accident?
So here's one that I don't know how viable it is, but I would probably try and do super heavy Dark Multiverse.
Ooh.
Because that's the era
Bianca, yeah, that's the Scott Snyder one where Gordon is Batman.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And I gotta say, that was better than I thought it was ever going to be.
I agree. That's why I would want to do a Dark Multiverse. And because that's the era when Steph was training with Catwoman.
What was the divergence that be?
Well, the divergence would probably be that Jim gets killed really early on.
Uh-oh. And what? Did the job go to that one guy that he was going to get it, but Jim, that convinced Jim to take it?
Well, I mean, there's a bunch of different places you could take it. You could say Bloom tries to become Batman instead of Jim.
Oh, wait. Are we talking about Bloom himself or the guy that was the original Bloom?
I don't really remember what the
Remember,
deal
there were
Bloom
two
was.
Blooms. You had the original Bloom, and then you had the guy who he had worked on before who ended up coming about, and he was the current Bloom.
And then you have Steve Bloom. And you have Orlando Bloom.
Spelled was very
Batman you
different.
want?
Oh, did you read Test for Z, by the way, either of you?
Yes.
What did you think?
It was better than I thought it would be.
Same here. And the fact that Bloom isn't technically dead, which makes sense given how that weird building of him worked. But what do you see with the fact that all the other zombies are just, mindless, like they're meat shields?
I think it's going to be. I think they're going to give more complexity. I'm intrigued.
Do you think they're going to get restored by the end?
I'm more intrigued than I thought I would be.
But do you think they'll be restored by the end?
I think some of them will. I don't want to say all of them, but I think this is too good.
I think Man-Bat will. I think so.
I think there's a good chance Bane will be too.
Now, geez, Bane meeting vengeance. I think Bane would want to kill her. Because he would see her as a replacement, and he would not like that. Would you agree with that?
I don't know. I mean, Bane always has had a kind of protective instinct to him. Like in Secret Six with Vandal Savage.
True.
Scandal Savage.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, you're right. He's always had this his weakness, as Chuck doesn't put it, his weakness has always been women.
Yes.
I mean, Talia convinced him to become the son of the demon. Remember that Bane of the Demon? But yeah. But what have you been saying about Robin? The recent issue.
Wait, did you say Robin or Robin?
Robin.
Because the first issue is out on DC Universe, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Robin itself is good. What
about the recent issue I meant?
I feel
you think they're kind of speeding through the arc?
I actually think that they're taking too long. I don't think it needs to be as long as it is. I like the ideas and I'm enjoying it, but I don't know. I'm kind of really done with 10-issue arcs. I want to get back to 5 to 6 issue arcs.
Tournament's too long.
Well, what about Robins? What did you think about Robins?
I really liked it. I really liked how meta he got.
Spoilers.
You want to read it?
It's full of spoilers because Stephanie Brown's in it. That's a pun.
Okay,
I'm
well, then let me ask you this: what do you think about the reveal of the first Robin?
And she's clearly insane. It's not really going to be the first round. It's just people need to chill.
Let me guess. You think it's Raish manipulated this kid? That's the other thing. This kid's too young to be the first Robin.
Dick's like, hello.
Yeah, he should be older than Dick.
Time travel. It's gotta be.
Time travel's ain't that a bitch?
Reminds me of the whole Powerpuff Girls thing that happened in the reboot with the
Oh
new
God!
first
Don't get me
Powerpuff
started on
Girl.
that stupid reboot.
Bliss, the first Powerpuff Girl.
That was so stupid. And I love Olivia Olsen because she was the voice of Bliss.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Also, what the hell was up with her hips?
Yeah, I every time I think about her, I'm like, no. I don't like her color scheme either.
Yeah, it was beyond stupid. Did you ever see that reboot, dude?
No.
Good.
You're lucky. You're lucky.
I didn't see it either. I just see reviews of it.
I've seen some episodes of it. The twerking episode.
Uh,
What the fuck?
I can't.
Okay, hey, that one question I asked a while ago about character, creators you thought would be good, but it ended up not being it. What about the opposite? Creators you never thought would be good on a title, but you ended up loving them.
Tom Taylor.
Really?
Yeah, I like Son
On
of
which?
Kal-El.
Oh, really? Well, what about you,
Mm-hmm.
Ian? Did you hear what I said? A creator you
Nope.
thought would be horrible on a book
Oh.
or a character, and you ended up being so
Oh, yeah.
surprised that you loved it.
That's an
You don't want to just
intriguing.
do. You don't want to just do one. You could do multiple.
I'm trying to think of surprisingly good because, like, I didn't have negative expectations of Hawkman, but that blew me away.
Oh, you mean with the Vendetti one?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's less about the creator, more about the title itself.
Right. Exactly.
Because Vendetti already proved himself, so yeah, that
Well,
don't
but he
count.
hadn't proved himself to me. I didn't have any experience with Venditti
Oh,
before that.
all right. Because I would say he proved it was me with his Green Lantern and his Uncle Sam, or Freedom Fighters. Sorry, Freedom Fighters.
Of course, Mariko Tamaki on Wonder Woman and Detective Comics.
Yep,
Really?
which has become my go-to.
I did
proof
not
of,
like any of her stuff before that.
I would say she's the prime example I would always give to people of you want someone that can do great if you have a good editor to rein them in. Mariko's that example.
You didn't like her Elseworld Wonder Woman?
What else word Wonder Woman?
You mean the Supergirl?
No.
What's the,
Mariko Tamaki made a Wonder Woman Elseworld. Oh, what
She
was the
did?
name?
no, she didn't.
Well, it was Jill Thompson, but the concept or whatever the story was by Mariko Tamaki.
Hold on,
Her name's on it. I just looked
Huh.
at it a couple days ago.
hold on,
I
hold
think it's called the
on,
True Amazon or something like that.
hold on. I'm looking. I'm looking.
Let me know whenever you want me to go to like my bookshelf. It's like 10 steps away.
Go to your bookshelf then.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, I have no idea what she's talking about. Oh, 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 I know which one. I know which one. The True Amazon. Wait,
That was
Tamaki.
faster than I thought.
I found it. I
Dang
found it.
it! I was
Sorry, but it doesn't say anything. It
trying.
doesn't say anything. Oh, no. There was an introduction by Mariko to the
That's what it
book.
was.
She had nothing to do with the plot.
Sorry, I don't know what introduction is, I guess.
An introduction is when you just write a little blurb at the beginning of the book.
um,
That's an introduction.
actually, that's really weird because the entire book is like a narration. Oh wait, no, never mind. The introduction by Mariko
Yeah,
Tamaki.
that has nothing to do with the
How did
story.
I
When
miss that?
it happens.
Now I'm gonna have to read it after this. After we're done. This is a lot of interesting stuff here.
Yeah, but yeah, no, that had nothing to do with that with her. But
So
yeah,
that was my bad.
it's all right. But yeah, Mariko though, yeah, had up until that point you had. Oh, hey Tavia.
Hey,
But yeah, it was
We have a
Tamaki
commenter?
though. What?
We have a commenter?
Yep.
yes.
We've been going on for an hour and 50 minutes, and we finally get a commenter.
Hello!
Hello. But anyway, as I was saying was, but yeah, Tamanki's shown that she can actually do good stuff, and that's why I point to her saying like, I say, you just need a good editor to keep him in line. Don't let him go off the rails.
And you
Would
gotta
you
have
agree
the
with
right
that?
book.
Oh yeah, like Mark Russell having Marie Javins on Flintstones and Snagglepuss.
I mean, I just don't like Mark Russell.
Yeah, but those two were probably his best stuff he did. But then even when you had him do the Porky and Lex or the Green Lantern and Huckleberry Hound, the Huckleberry Hound one, which was set in the same time a bit as the Snagglepuss one, or at least the same tying in with the characters. No jabbing on that one. Way more political. You know what I mean?
I just don't think he's very smart.
Fair enough.
And now I'm more confused. So I'm skimming through the introduction. On
Oh,
the Wonder Woman, the True Amazon, it says Jill Thompson on there. So I
yeah, Joe
assume that
Thompson was the writer. She was the main writer.
she
All
is,
Tamaki did, yeah, all Tamaki did was that introduction.
because that's weird. Because in her introduction, she says that how Jill Thompson is the artist, but not the
Oh no, no, yeah, she's
writer.
both. No, she's
She's
both.
both. Okay.
It's one of the cases where the creator was both.
That
That's
makes
usually why it
sense.
says creator.
Okay,
I know I
making
talked
sure.
about it last time you were on here, Ian, but remind me, what did you think about Kevin? Besides the bladder spasm, what did you think about Kevin Smith's Batman stuff?
I haven't read most of it.
Oh, because I gotta say, he not that many bad ideas. And I think I've said it before, but it bears repeating. Why I like widening gyre so much is because of the fact of the whole notion of Kevin Smith gives up the notion of, and I've always been of the belief, Batman is a balancing act between the Bat and Bruce. Would you agree with that?
Hmm.
What I mean by that is you have too much Batman, he's dark. That's when he's like the whole like I work alone. And he gets really aggressive. Like what happened after Jason died. That's when the Bat was too much in charge.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Now you rarely get moments where Bruce is too much in charge, but this once he's starting to fall, like he and Silver St. Cloud are starting a relationship that's unhindered. She brings out too much of Bruce to the point where he makes some really dumb mistakes, like truly boneheaded. But you can see that is the case where Bruce is too much in the driver's seat. He's still being Batman, but it's more Bruce Wayne wearing the cowl and not being Batman. Does that make sense? I mean, the way I
Yeah.
see it is the Bat is where he gets all of his skills. When he's Bruce, it's the little boy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Shazam.
Now, I'm not saying that Kevin probably thought all that through, but it would explain so much of his boneheaded mistakes. Like again, he reveals this new guy shows up named Bamfit, and Bamfit, because he wears like a horse head. And Batman just interacts with him a couple of times. He starts to actually he feels like this guy's a good kid, a bit vengeful, a bit rough, but he could actually we can work it through. And eventually, when he feels ready to propose to Silver, he then brings the guy after the guy gives him a sob story saying why did they kill my little brother and all that. Bruce trusts him way so much that he brings him to the Bat Cave and reveals himself. Basically, like I'm bringing him in. And even revealed about Silver, but you want to know the big twist?
Yes.
Who was Bamf really?
Echo? I mean, onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia, and he slits Silver's throat.
Why does Kevin Smith do this so often?
Now, the next half was supposed to be Batman being like, he has lost it.
So is Silver actually dead in continuity?
As far as the pre-Flashpoint, yes. Now, here's the other thing, though. The second half, because he started working more on it after New 52 started, he was basically told, do whatever you want now, since you're dealing with a continuity that no longer matters.
Oh, hey guys, so I'm actually gonna
Have to get
step
going?
out. Yep.
All right.
But I
Well,
will
we're
say
gonna start
that
wrapping up soon.
awesome.
Yeah.
But I will say that first question you said about, which like
A creator you
author
didn't think would be good, but ended up being good.
uh the opposite one.
Oh, the one that you thought would be good, but ended up sucking.
Yes. So I'm actually gonna say Atsushi Akubo. So
Which
for
was that?
him, he did Biichi, he did Soul Eater Not, and
Solely
he's currently
okay.
doing Fire Force. Um, Soul Eater was probably one of the best ones. Soul Eater Not, I was one of the people who hated it when it first came out because I wanted, the reboot of the Soul Eater franchise,
Right.
to actually follow the manga. But I was like, this is for a different audience. Whoever likes it, that
Fair
kind of
enough. Fair
thing.
enough. But
Well,
what else did
Fire
he do?
Force feels it's like I'm only reading the anime. I'm reading the anime. I'm watching the
Watching.
anime right now because I'm really behind. And I was like, okay, I'll just read the manga after this. But I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna read the manga. Like it's not as good. It's like first it started out first so strong, especially in season 1, but in season 2 I'm getting bored. And the
Oof.
decisions he's doing in the anime, I'm like, why would you do this and not this? How am I
True.
supposed to feel? Like I could like list
I
specific
understand. I
ones,
understand.
but I'm like, I feel like that would be a spoiler to a lot of people,
Right.
especially since I'm behind on the anime
Yep.
itself. But I'm like, the manga is not gonna be worth my time after this. Uh,
Right.
so
But
that's it.
all right.
All right, bye, Ian. Bye,
Bye,
Ian.
Bianca.
Bye,
Great to hang out
Robert.
with
See ya.
you guys.
Of
Yep.
course.
See
Bye.
ya. I gotta say this though, and before we wrap up, I gotta say, Walt Flanagan, Kevin Smith's friend, he's been in a bunch of his stuff. He's
Hmm.
actually a pretty good artist. I mean, look at Silver here.
That's pretty. That's very nice.
Yeah, he is a good artist. Not the best artist, but very good. Oh, I love how he brought back some 90s characters like Cornelius Sturch, the
Nice.
cannibal guy. The cannibal guy. I mean, I always
Very.
find that it's like, I miss that. I miss stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
Uh,
I feel like there's still writers who bring back more obscure guys.
or Amygdala.
Yeah. Well, wasn't Amygdala in the Burnside run?
Oh, yeah. I'm saying when people bring him back is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but oh, hold on. I also gotta show you when he draws Catwoman. First in her 60s outfit, her old outfit, I mean, her golden age outfit. And basically, she owns a place with a vault and everything, and then breaks into it just to attract Batman there. To which I'm like, I could see if Selena's that desperate for a lay, she'd do that, don't you think?
Yep.
And then her in the 60s show outfit, the Julie Newmar outfit.
Classic.
But I love, though, the writing here, I really love when she's like, a bag boy called me a cougar today. A cougar. Me. Can you believe it? At my age, I could have killed him. I mean, a puma, maybe. Whatever. I left Sex Kitten behind a long time ago, is all I'm saying. To which then, Batman, you look stunning for a woman of 26, let alone your real age, which I know. You do not. I've been called the world's greatest detective. Oh, you smug little bastard. I'm like, that is something I see them saying, wouldn't you say? Think?
The only problem I have with that is that with so much of Kevin Smith's dialogue,
Mm-hmm.
um, I hear Kevin Smith saying it.
True. Now here's the other thing though. Here's then Selena in her Dwayne, the Darwin Cook outfit. But basically, he and Batman take down Deadshot, and then he reveals to Selena that he's getting married to Silver. She doesn't take it well at all. You know what I mean? Even
No, do not marry that hussy.
she even decks him and basically she feels like um says, I bet she never even pulled on a mask for you. But me, I wore two of my dumbest costumes for you. Two, you jerk. Then I love this. There's Bamford and Deadshot. Deadshot, let me guess. You need a hug. He's then left dangling with a sign saying, I need a hug. Now I'm just like, that's a bit Spider-Man for my taste. Could you see Batman doing that?
Yeah,
Could you?
maybe.
Leaving it just now, especially in the mood he's in after all that, I think he actually would. If actually, maybe he would. Especially like, let me guess, you need a hug, and it's just like, need a hug, my ass.
Oh, I remember where the last time I saw Silver St. Cloud was. It
What?
was in um, the Elmer
Gotham?
Fudd. No, Elmer Fudd
Oh yeah,
Batman.
that was good.
That was classic.
Which you realize technically then Tom King has written all three of Bruce's main regular love interests:
Yes.
Talia, Selena, and Silver in that one shot.
Yep. And
And,
Tom King insists that that's canon because he keeps putting references to Porky's Bar.
yep. Which I think it makes sense. It can fit because they're all humans. It's not like any of them were the animals,
Right.
except
And
for the frog.
You could argue that it's semi-canon.
Right. Like maybe not the exact events happened, but yeah. But the only thing I did not like about Tom King's run, two of the biggest things. One, well, the ending was one, obviously, but I don't blame them all for that. But the other one, Holly being a killer.
The actual final issue is really good.
Oh yeah. But everything about that, all of everything getting derailed and focusing on Thomas, because the deal felt that was the real villain.
Thanks, Didio.
And killing Alfred, of course, but we gotta set up 5G. Now, what really bothers me is that Snyder basically made it clear even those who died before the event would be alive, and they decided not to go with it. I get why Tinian didn't go with it.
Why can't they bring Alfred back? I
think this upcoming Crisis, he's going to come back.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
I hope so. I am tired of not having.
Then again, though, how long? And I want another one shot. That's the return of Alfred. Hell, have it be Nightwing bringing him back. Make it be a redo of that old one shot. Remember where Dick goes and finds him?
Yep.
Oh yeah, have you heard? Apparently, Perch has been saying that Tim is going to get his own book soon.
Who's getting his own book?
Tim Drake.
Well, they seem to be trying to set something up, but I have no idea.
Here's my problem is though they better not put Cena Grace on it.
Oh jeez.
That'll be Iceman 2.
No.
I said I hope not. I didn't say they were. I just said I hope not. Although chances are I don't think they will. I really don't think they will.
I kind of feel like they might be setting Tim up to be on the Outsiders.
Perhaps. But what about Duke?
Well, I mean, you could have Duke and Tim on the Outsiders.
No, you're right. You're right.
They had Duke and Cass on the Outsiders before.
True.
Now Cass has Batgirls, so they're like, well, let's swap Cass.
I cannot wait for Batgirls. I cannot wait. It's about damn time. It's been teased ever since Gale.
With any of the previous creative teams they've been trying for the last year.
They've been teasing it since as far back as Future's End.
Yes, but like I don't want Vita Ayala because Vita Ayala's story in Future State was really, really bad.
Right.
Of course, I don't want Cecil Castellucci because Cecil Castellucci
Oh, I don't
ran.
think. I think she's done.
I hope so, but her Batgirl run was
A rip off
so
of
awful.
so much stuff.
It was just badly written, just so bad.
Well, it's Cloonan and Conrad.
Yes, and then but so after Castellucci, you had Marguerite Bennett, who spent her entire Batgirls one shot showing how stupid the Batgirls are and how cool Ryan Wilder is instead.
Wait, when was this one shot?
It was in Urban Legends number
Right, right.
or
What the
5.
hell?
It
Margaret
was
Bennett,
so
she's
bad.
better. She's better than that. I mean, come on, her Batwoman run, the
No,
Rebirth run.
I did not like her Batwoman run at all.
You only liked it when Tinian was on board with her.
No, I didn't like any part of that Batwoman run.
I thought you said you did. I thought you said you liked the Rebirth run.
Nope, nope. I like the New 52
Oh
first
wait, wait.
run.
I'm thinking of someone else that I had on.
Fair.
My
I mean, it
mistake.
had its
My
fans.
mistake. My mistake. But
Not many, but it did.
I gotta say, the one Margaret Benny story I like was one of her first ones with that um Batman and that Batman annual story.
Which one did she do?
It was the one that was during Endgame. You had that, or no, before Endgame. It was the one when you had that witchy woman who could somehow go through like they use this quantum physics or something. She can
Oh
move through
yeah,
stuff.
I read that. That wasn't bad.
Yeah. Also, her bombshell stuff.
I didn't. So I have. This is very petty of me, but I really dislike Bombshells because Bennett, when she made the Batgirls, left Cass and Steph out and used Steph's supporting cast instead of Steph.
What?
I'm very petty, but I really didn't like that.
Also, she's done the Ruby books, including the Ruby Justice League crossover.
Are those any good?
I liked it, but you need to know at least a little bit about the first two or three volumes of Ruby.
I've only watched the first season of Ruby, I think.
Okay, then you have at least a good understanding of the world. You could check it out. I think you like it because it actually had. Now you got to take into account that these are remnant versions of the League.
Remnant.
That's the world of Ruby.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So
that's
these
what I
are
hear. Is it's
them.
more Ruby than Justice League.
It is. It's basically spoilers. Jessica Cruz, Green Lantern, is from a version of the DC universe. She chased Starro across time and space, and they ended up on that world about 16 years prior. He crash landed 16 years prior, and it was basically a notion of them just being on that world caused things to shift, and those those leaguers to come about, to be born, or in the case of Wonder Woman, her mother's. Well, that's because they built her. She's an automaton,
Huh.
which matches when you have a character named Penny who exists, the android. But yeah, and Batman in this version, he's a faunus, so he has bat ears.
Huh.
Bruce does, and his semblance, their special gift, is deduction.
that's that's
No,
kind of silly.
like he can actually find through and deduce and figure out where things are. Like when someone stole a special pocket watch, he was able to figure it out and see it, and we see it glowing in the guy's pocket. Superman, Clark is, we don't know if he's actually having a bunch of semblances at once or if he's an alien. It's never made clear. The only thing that's made clear in this version, his powers only work during the daytime, not at night.
So sun connected?
Yep. Flash is a speedster, but he's also a faunus, but he's a turtle faunus. It'll be a joke, turtle, but he's fast. And his semblance is speed. And I was like, but he looks normal. Turns out he has a turtle tail, but obviously you can barely see a tail. Like I said, Wonder Woman's an automaton, and Cyborg, Aquaman has the semblance dealing with underwater, and A cyborg is, well, he's a cyborg. Basically, a great scientist was studying about dust working in space, had an accident, and then got rebuilt.
Hmm.
It's good. And if you're a newbie to Ruby, you probably get more entertainment out of it than if you're, and some longtime fans would, others won't. Because they'll be feeling like, oh, why are some of these characters getting shafted? Because it's meant to appeal to newbies. But I said, Margot Bennett's been writing all the Ruby comics. In fact, hold on, I got them right here. All 7 issues. Or you can get the digital versions.
Very nice.
Yep. I know there's some elements that come by from the post Volume 3 stuff, like Menagerie, where Blake is from, or about her father, White's father, or about Summer and Raven, Ruby and Yang's mothers. But yeah, though, I mean, other than that, though, if you just know the basics about the characters, you'll get a good understanding. Oh, their version of that classic cover, I like that.
Starro.
Starro the Conqueror. That's a good cover. Yoo-hoo. Yeah, now the other thing, obviously, because this was like a bi-week or whatever, you had each installment have basically had a rotating amount of artists.
Yeah, that's the thing with the digital first is they almost never get one artist.
I mean, it's understandable, let's be honest.
I guess, but I wish they'd commission them with enough time because most digital first aren't in continuity, so it's not
Most
like
aren't.
they have to release it at a certain time. I wish they'd commission it like 6 months in advance and give the artist enough time to just do the whole thing.
Oh, no argument. I will not argue that whatsoever. But sometimes it works, and in this case, the artwork are kind of similar enough. You can still tell differences, but it's not like you're like, oh god, what the hell?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, and I will give them that was those digital first. And I gotta say, I think DC's been doing a lot better with these new incentives. Not the greatest, but compared to Marvel, they're doing better with these incentives. Wouldn't you agree? The digital stuff, Webtoons has been a huge success.
Um, well, I say that DC clearly has done better with webtoons than Marvel. Have you seen Marvel's attempt to do webtoons? So
I've heard they're just as bad as some of their current books.
So, I mean, the thing is, I don't mind what some people call like cringe humor. So, like, I like Jeff the Land Shark. I think that's a fun thing, and I think it works perfectly for a webcomic. The problem is, they, for some reason, decided that this is what they're going to do on their Marvel Unlimited? Or,
yeah.
Yeah. So, Marvel Unlimited.
So you still need a subscription for it.
Right. And also, they are clearly written to be vertical, just like webtoons, but they cut them up into pages and have you read them sideways. Marvel is moronic with this.
Yep, and I think it's Daniel Cherry who has a good idea of what to do to stuff. I think he had a good idea, and that's why it's doing so well. Oh, speaking of a Marvel book, you want to know one of my favorite underrated books?
What? Is that good?
Well, look who worked on it.
Well, yeah, I know visually, but like story-wise, is it good?
Oh, story-wise, yeah, it is basically it's set in it's a throwback to the old
Sweet Christmas.
Yep, the early days.
Please tell me he says Sweet Christmas.
Of course.
All right.
Yep. But I love it though how the artwork is so interesting. Like the first time, well, like look at these guys, these robbers, the bank rollers.
Nice.
But yeah, when we're first introduced to him, he looks more like a traditional look, and of course, boom, boom, boom. I know, but you have like stuff like the X, Camistro, Mace, Black Maria, and Mr. Fish, a bunch of random villains.
Very nice.
Made up, obviously, but there's stuff you're like, oh, Geniso came up with these guys.
All right. Well, it looks like we're at about 2 hours and a
Yeah,
quarter.
about to start wrapping up.
So I
Thanks for
had a
coming on,
great
man.
time. Glad we
Yep,
could make it work, even though the scheduling was all wacky.
right.
But yeah, everybody have a good
Anyone that
time.
watches it afterwards, yeah, have a good time. If you lasted this long, thank you so
Indeed,
much.
you got to
And
see some Luke Cage art.